Hi everyone, we'll get started in about 2 minutes.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, we'll get started in approximately 1 minute. Thank you very much. Okay, thanks everyone for joining. My name is Jason Etter and I'm the Director of Business Development at Profound Cloud. As you know, today's session is covering Inbox, which is brought to you by the creators of Gmail. I'll address how Inbox for Work tackles the enterprise space by empowering today's mobile workforce. I'll try to save some time for questions at the end, but will be certain to contact any of you directly should I not have time to respond. Lastly, this session will be recorded, and I'll be certain to share it with you should you be interested. Do feel free, though, to ask questions throughout. You'll see at the bottom of the GoToWebinar panel, there's a drop down arrow for questions. Please do feel free to ask your questions right there, and I'll be certain to address them at the end. And as I mentioned before, though, if I can't, I will make sure to get to them directly with you after the session. I'll send you an email or send a direct call. Thank you very much. So, to get into this, right? Google has been working for years, not only to deliver mail to you safely and securely, but also in the most efficient way possible. This is how organizing your inbox by unread, starred, and important came into view. The important section then evolved into what we know as the priority inbox, where Google was able to identify mail items based off of your respond and read habits, along with where information was being sent from. If it came from the boss or a customer, it's important. If it came from a blog, well, it probably wasn't important, even if it's something you subscribe to. This type of functionality is excellent, but as this platform became more efficient, that allowed for more information to be delivered and more iterations were demanded. In short, as work changed, so should the product. Most recently, the Gmail team began classifying messages into categories such as primary, social, promotions, and updates. This delivered a familiar web browser based style through the tabs of sifting through information. Additionally, it allowed more room for your pertinent messages. So then, with that, what is Inbox by Gmail? Well, we'll certainly get into that, but the short of it is Inbox is a new take on, well, the inbox. That let's focus on that primary part of it too. It still maintains all the valuable information Google learned from Gmail and presents it in a clean, simple, separate product that can be used in place of Gmail. But, to be clear, is not replacing Gmail altogether. You can always go back to Gmail, and I guarantee that you will. I like to think of Inbox as the to do list for my messages while mobile and on the go. It's arguable that Inbox is specifically designed for mobile, although it is accessible on your desktop. So I think the first question to ask, though, is who is Inbox for and how does it affect our corporate data, our workflow, our processes? So let's talk about that. I think before we dive into the features of Inbox, it's better to first understand who Inbox is for, what Google is trying to solve, and how Google plans to do it. Now, to start, there are two types of user spectrums of Gmail usage. On the one side, we have the dirty inboxer, and on the other, we have Mr. Inbox Zero. Most of us think we're one or the other, or try not to be concerned about the cleanliness of their message delivery system. Most commonly, though, we all fall somewhere between both. The inbox zero type does not necessarily mean that they strive to have an empty inbox. If you do, that's your prerogative. But that's not what I'm talking about today. Inbox zero is mostly about spending the least amount of time possible in mail. If you're an executive and are inundated with mail, you might be the type who only checks email once an hour and has previously enabled specific filters or labels to ensure your primary inbox is optimized and sophisticated for your quick glance. Nevertheless, it's a challenge to not get pulled into that inbox, especially once you see 3 to 20 new urgent matters that showed up in the most recent hour. If you're only checking messages once an hour, it becomes challenging and difficult when you see 20 messages that require your immediate attention. What do you do? Now, the dirty inboxer may need to turn their monitor sideways to get the full scope of their messages. These are the types of email users that have somewhere in the range of 1,000 unread messages, or maybe even more. In short, their inbox is a mess. However, these people are still highly productive. Why? Because they're not concerned with what their inbox looks like. They search. Google gives you the best possible platform available to find information. So if they need something, they look for it. They're not concerned about how many messages are in their primary or what have you. They just want to get their work done. When they get an important message, they'll see it. The dirty inboxer doesn't delete or has much reason to organize either. They look for the messages when they need it. So, who is Inbox for? The dirty inboxer wants the information when it's delivered and needs to be able to find messages in a timely manner. The Inbox Zero folks will only check their messages once an hour. If that's so, the most important messages need to be visible and accessible. In both cases, both are busy and both don't spend their day in their Gmail. They have jobs to do. So if both types are busy, and it turns out that the office is not the only place where they work or to get things done, right? In fact, according to Forrester, 37% of information workers work from 3 or more locations every month. People work while traveling, at remote offices, and from home. And they need to be productive wherever they are. And in this mix of locations are multiple devices. Smartphones and tablets are increasing in importance. 50% of workers spend more time working from their phones, and 66% of workers spend more time working from their tablets than they did 1 year ago. Google has been extremely focused on the proliferation of devices because it means that workers, dirty or zero, need information to be delivered cleanly and consistently across multiple devices. This is very important, and Google has doubled down on this. So with mobility, though, comes infrequent or sporadic time. So people need to access information quickly when they have 5-minute coffee break, or they're on the train, or jumping from one meeting to the next. The Inbox Zero person might have 100 messages to sift through, and the dirty inboxer might have just a smorgasbord of information. It's very difficult to organize. Now, I know personally that whenever I'm attending a conference or some type of closed-off meeting, that's usually when I get bombarded with messages. Whenever I'm not available or not in front of my computer or, really don't have a lot of time, that's when they all come, right? So everyone seems to come out of the woodwork, and promotional information gets very crowded around that information as well. And it's difficult for me to quickly look at my phone and have it, respond quickly, get things done. Additionally, when I'm on the bus or heading towards the subway, I like to set reminders so I don't lose track of to-dos, right? Well, out of curiosity, I'm wondering how many of you have actually emailed yourself to serve that as a reminder. I do it all the time, so don't be shy if that's the case. I might also use Siri or Google to set reminders for me. I mean, it's great technology and it's in the palm of my hands, which is great. But I'm not crazy about leaving an application to remind me to check the same application. It seems a little unintuitive, but it does the job and has been the best available option so far. What it comes down to is when I've got 5 minutes to quickly look at my phone or my iPad and maybe have a second to say hello to my family, my time is precious. When I'm on the go, I crave for something intelligent enough to sort through my information for me and let me make quick, fluid decisions. So why Inbox? Well, for starters, Inbox solves a huge problem when you're on the go. The entire interface is designed for a smaller form factor. Look at how they display hotel reservations right here. I'll move my mouse so you can see what I'm talking about right here. Okay? They have a direct link in the actual message too, and this is actually a snapshot of my actual inbox. And it shows the direct link to the hotel, and I can actually get directions too, right? So within my 5-second glance at this, Google has solved 3 steps for me. It brought me my upcoming stay within the top of the screen, which means I don't have to scroll to find it or search for it. It reminded me which hotel I'm staying at, which is always important because I don't know, where I'm going necessarily or remember if someone's asking me. And it's also intuitive enough to know that I need directions to get there. That's more like it, right? Additionally, it pulls images and video links directly from messages, as you can see over here. This is from Cafe Press. This is an order I have placed. So it pulled that image right there, lets me know that something's being shipped. And it also pulls a video too. And I can actually swipe through. If there's multiple videos and images, I can actually swipe without even going into the message to see that pertinent information. So this is very important when speaking to vendors or creative teams, especially if you're in an organization that works with a lot of images and videos. If you have things embedded into your the messaging that you're sending, and you're the CEO looking and you wanted to take a look at some of the information that's being sent to you, and something captures your eye, you can actually interact with that information without opening the message. It's really a very compelling way of just distributing information very quickly and easily. So actually, the idea with the hotel is a great example of what Highlights is. So similar to the hotel example, Highlights pulls the pertinent detail out of a message and displays it. In addition to hotels, though, this also works for flight info, package tracking, and it keeps the small form factor in mind. Look at how clean and simple it is to read this information. So no more scrolling or swiping to see images or files attached. And when I say swiping, I mean there are times when people have reply upon reply upon reply upon reply, and the message gets so large that you actually have to move and scroll to the left or right to finish reading the message, and it becomes really frustrating. Well, because this is designed for mobility, it just compacts all that information for you. It makes it very seamless for you to actually see that information. And it keeps that small form factor in mind. It's very clean, it's very simple, very easy to read that information. And the idea is to scroll as little as possible. Now, you'll notice that there's a hamburger icon right here, right? That leads you to what labels in Gmail was. But don't worry, those labels are still there and they're not going anywhere. So, for example, when I first received the hotel information I was talking about before, it immediately placed it in the travel bundle, okay? I never told it to do that, but that's great because it does the organizing for me. Bundles uses the intelligence of Google search to group similar items into one area, sort of like the smart inbox tabs I talked about earlier. However, unlike the smart tabs, these can be fully customizable. For example, as you see right here, I have a bundle called house buying. Okay. Now, that house buying bundle, as you can see here, is anything from my attorney, real estate agent, or financial service, anything related to purchasing the house that my wife and I are looking to have, is automatically placed into this bundle. Additionally, similar to filters in Gmail, you can create rules too. For example, I made sure that all junk house related messages do not show up in this bundle. And you can even control how often bundles come to the top of the inbox, such as once a day, immediately, not at all if you'd rather just turn notifications off altogether. Sometimes there's information that you want, right? But you don't necessarily need to see it when it arrives and when it's immediate. You want it to be sorted in the background for you. So at a later time, you can go there and check it out. For example, if you are a member of many LinkedIn groups, maybe you'd want to create a bundle to pull those out of updates, because that's typically where it would go, to go to something like, as you see here, for updates or forums, depending if it's a group or not. You might want to create your own bundle that says, hey, this is really important to me because I'm very curious about the community and the different conversations that are happening. But I don't need to see it when it's happening because it's stuff that it's not timely. I can respond to it later. You can create a bundle for that and actually set a priority of when you're going to get it. For example, you can even have a once a week bundle, right? Which is great because you can have that just once a week. It'll just show you all the recent new messages in that bundle. You could take a look at it, go through it, and then do a whole bunch of more things with it too, like reminders. So reminders are perfect for the mobile worker, as many messages have actions that can easily be forgotten. Remember earlier, I talked about how I would email myself to a reminder or a to-do. Well, this eliminates the need for that altogether. Remind me to send the proposal, remind me to call Larry, remind me to email Kathy back, right? So there is this real-time intuitiveness of reminders. Based off the message in history, Inbox will predict not just your text, but the action as well. So it's not just, as I start typing, it tells me what word I'm trying to say. It's actually trying to predict what I want to do, right? So this saves valuable time. For example, I needed to call my cable company about my service, and it immediately pulled the information relevant to me. As you can see here, call Verizon, right? So this works for your contacts and as well, and it's really helpful. I can't tell you how many times I've set reminders on the go and either lost or the reminder or forgot what it meant. Inbox eliminates the back and forth and keeps all the information inside Inbox so you don't have to remember to check your reminders. And I say that because I've actually been in situations where I've had to set a reminder to check my reminders. Look, we're in a cloud space. All of you are using Google Apps, so it's exciting stuff. You might want to be able to have, you might use something like Todoist or Google Keep or Any.do. You might use Evernote. All these different applications are excellent, all as standalone products. But for me, a lot of the to-dos I create are based around the messages that I'm receiving. I don't want to leave the application to remind me to go back to the application. What I love about the intuitiveness of reminders is it's in that same application and it's relevant to the information that I'm trying to remind myself about. It's very, very compelling. So let's move on here. So assist. This intuitiveness that I'm talking about here, right, comes from Inbox's ability to assist, and I was talking about that already. So look at assist as a smart autocomplete while typing. That's a good way of looking at it. This reminder will appear in every message you read. So everything you read, it'll actually show this guy right here, remember to. Everything, every message you have will always give you that option. Okay. Once you click on the remember to, Assist begins suggesting immediately based off of the common tasks, such as call, cancel, or pay. Then, based off of the selection, you'll see more common options and more intelligent data relevant to the message that you're particularly in. Additionally, as you see this from the results, it even knows, thanks to the intelligence of Gmail, when my upcoming credit card and service bills are due. This is incredible. This continues for all your other to-dos as well. Maybe I have a toothache and I need to find a dentist. It's even intuitive enough to, I keep saying intuitive, but it really is pretty remarkable, to show me the results based off of my location for dentists nearby. Okay? Now, Snooze has also been a lifesaver for me. For work, it's going to be incredibly pertinent for the mobile worker. Everything I said about being at a conference or being on the go or going from meeting to meeting, Snooze is absolutely that time saver. Before Inbox, I would read a message and either star it or mark it unread if I needed to attend to it later. With Snooze, you can set specific time when you know it'll be more convenient to respond. In a meeting, or you just happen to see a message from your coworker, set a snooze for an hour. You see something that's more relevant for next quarter, have it go away for a few months. That's really important with when you're dealing with vendors and things of that nature. Maybe you have event tickets for there's a thing going on at the Javits Center, but you don't want the event tickets to just stay in your inbox the entire time. Well, you don't need to. You don't want to clutter that up, so you set a snooze until you actually get to the location of the convention hall. Once you appear there, boom. Okay, it just shows right up. Now, here's an example, okay, of a coupon, right, for a free travel mug I got from Dunkin' Donuts. So this is what I see. And as you can see, I have all these different, I have snooze, I have pin, I can set reminders really quickly. Very good. So then I clicked on snooze, and this is what happens. So here's an example. This is what I see when I click snooze. You see all the available options here. Assist is always working, even in snooze as well. So Assist is completely integrated through all of Inbox. But it's pre-picking times for me that makes sense, right? I would actually love to see in the future. As you can see, it kind of knows that AM is probably the best time to go to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm curious if if actually knew that or not. That'd be pretty wild. But anyhow, you can see all the different options I could do it, location based, etc. So I did click on location, and I started typing DUNK, and it automatically started showing me the Dunkin' Donuts that are closest to me as I was just typing that. So I use this for specific instructions on getting into buildings as well, right? Sometimes I need to remember which door or street to enter, where to park. I'll just snooze the message until I'm at that location. Very easy. Okay, so you probably want to know more about what's next with Inbox. So I've heard from Google that they're currently developing some really interesting tools available for both Gmail and Inbox. They want to allow developers to deliver these notifications, help create bundles automatically into the application. So I don't have much information about who or when, but it's really exciting that Google's going to open this up to the incredible partner ecosystem that's out there to see some really compelling actions happening. All right. So rather than having Gmail having to interpret the data in legacy email format, let's see what these developers can do to really add some incredible plugins. So this will be very helpful for additional features that will be integrated with location and contacts. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing what's happening here. So where can you find more information? Well, just remember that Inbox for personal Gmail accounts was just launched in October of 2014. So it's only been around for a very short period of time. And only 2 weeks ago, they announced Inbox for work. Okay, so Google is currently working through a early adopter program for collaborating with Google Apps customers to bring Inbox to work. Okay, that's really important for you to know. Now, I'm sure you want it now. So here's what you do. I'll put this in the chat if you want to email. If you just go over to the GoToMeeting panel, I'll post it in the chat for everyone. If you want to be part of the early adopter program, send an email to inboxforwork@google.com. Okay, it's in the chat now. And that's where you can send those messages to Google and see if you can be part of that partner program. And they'll respond by email with an application form. But something to be really to be key on is the Inbox for Work team is being very selective. Okay, so they'll only choose the best candidates, and in that application is your opportunity to explain why you want to be part of the program. Okay. So I want to be really clear about that. Make your case, okay? It is coming to everyone. It's just there is no immediate time frame of when. They have not indicated when it will be available to the masses, but the good news is it is coming. And additionally, as time passes, I'm willing to bet that Google will, just like they did with the personal version of Inbox, they'll begin to include more and more interested domains as time passes. So that's a win for you. Okay. Great. So let's see here. The next part of it here, I have some great questions. I can't wait to answer them. But I do want to touch on this. So rather than waiting to hear from Google, work with Profound Cloud. This type of information is readily available to our Google for Work partners who have embraced our enhanced admin support, for example. We recognize that no one knows your business and staff better than you and your team. However, who's helping you? And who's helping your IT admins too? That's where Profound Cloud comes in. We offer white glove Google support, and it's very competitively priced. Our enhanced admin support in particular, in addition to support, includes monthly training sessions and, most importantly, scheduled time to discuss product updates and what I personally consider the most valuable part, your technology vision, right? If you've gone Google, it's critical to keep a constant dialogue with your partner. We're not just here to renew your licenses every year. We're here to help you improve your overall experience utilizing Google Apps. You didn't go Google just to perform a migration. You chose a platform to revolutionize your productivity. And we welcome the chance to talk with you. So please feel free to call or email me directly. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start answering some questions here. So the first question is, when Inbox is used and bundles are created, will it or can it update and change labels in Gmail? Great question. So those bundles actually do show up in the ones that you create will actually show up in Gmail. And I'll be happy to send you, whoever asked the question, a specific screenshot just to kind of show you how that works. Okay. Actually, another great question. So another question was, and let me just go back a few slides to show you what the question is relevant to. So let me just go here. Here we go. So as you can see right here, there's this little icon right here. This is one thing I actually didn't touch on, and I apologize for that. This is the pin, okay? So what pinning does is this is an indication to keep the message in your inbox. Now, to answer the question was, will pinning a message work universally between Inbox and Google? And my answer is yes, and I have seen it happen. So, for example, if you swipe away something from your inbox, you're swiping it away from your inbox in Gmail as well. So it's not deleted. It's just simply being put into your all mail. Okay, if you pin something, you want it to stay in your inbox, and it will stay in your inbox as well, unless you do anything within Gmail and back and forth. But it is there, and it will remain there as long as you have it pinned. Okay, I personally have found that the pinning, I didn't talk about pinning too much, only because I found the pinning to be a feature that I was interested in when I first started using Inbox. But now that I've been using it more regularly, I don't actually see a need for pinning because I've moved from pinning to the actual snooze feature. So rather than saying I need this to stay in my inbox, I simply snooze it to when I know I want it because it's going to reappear. So I've actually, I only have the screenshot to show the pin because I actually pinned the items so that they would show up for the screenshot because I found some, I wanted to find a reservation. I wanted to find the order that I had. So I pinned them to my inbox so they were able to be viewed. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. Now, the next great question is, will this be available for Google Apps for Education? I did talk to Google about that. I think the short answer is, of course, it's going to be. The longer answer is, I'm not sure when. It's something that certainly is on the roadmap, something that they are considering, but I don't have any information as to when they plan on doing it. The first step is let's get them onto Google for Work customers first, and then the next step will be education. Okay. I have another question here. Is there any way to save an email into Drive? Working on a project and have all my files, etc. in Drive. When I get an email, I want to keep them all in the same place. That's a great question. So there is an extension that Google created that allows you to move messages when you're on your desktop to move the actual email directly to Drive. Now, in addition to that, if you have an attachment, any type of file attachment in a message in Gmail or Inbox for that matter, it will automatically give you that little icon, the Google Drive icon, and it will allow you to store that file in a specific folder in Google Drive. So anytime, and that relates to whether you're on your mobile device or it allows you to do that type of functionality, which is really pretty great. I think right now it is a lot more intuitive to save something to Drive from an Android device than an iOS device, but the functionality is still there. Excellent. Perfect. So I appreciate everyone's time. I see that I went a little bit over the half an hour that I wanted to take for everyone. I wanted to make sure everyone had plenty of time to get back to their current inbox before their next meetings. Again, please feel free to email me directly. I'd love to work with you guys. Some great companies that are listed here, and to talk more about becoming a Profound Cloud partner and understanding what your initial vision of Google was and where you are today and how we can better assist you. In the meantime, I wish you well, and thank you for your time today. Just as a friendly reminder, again, this was recorded, and I'll be certain to share it to all participants. And in the meantime, wish you all a wonderful day. Thank you so much.